St. Thomas was given a bad rap. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Welcome to another episode of Coffee and Rosaries with Father Pat. First of all, a very happy and blessed Easter Sunday to everyone out there in the Eastern Orthodox community that is celebrating today. May your holiday be as joyous as ours was. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about St. Thomas. And St. Thomas had earned the title of Doubting Thomas. As a matter of fact, Doubting Thomas is in the vernacular of our language today. Maybe not so much. I seem to remember even a popular fast food chain using a character named Doubting Thomas doubted everything that the other characters did, even when he saw it. It was a fun character, had a very interesting origin. So, in the calendar for Western Orthodox and Catholic, we are now going through the part of the Bible where Easter Sunday, Christ resurrected from the dead, and he begins his final 40 days of preaching before he finally ascends into heaven. Now, during this time, what does he do? He makes himself known to all the disciples. And one by one, they are amazed to hear of his presence, of the fact that he rose from the dead. I mean, they saw Christ. He raised the dead. Let's not forget Lazarus. Helped the lame walk, the blind see, got rid of leprosy. And by the way, I will never stop mentioning how Christ cured leprosy because, again, that was a disease that was very, very obvious. Sores, the flesh changing, the flesh almost decaying on the body. I mean, if you looked at the way lepers were treated throughout the ages, they were put in quarantine camps, leper colonies, okay? They were kept away from the people. Everybody was afraid that even with a simple touch of a person with leprosy, you would catch it. If you were near the person, if they breathed on you, you would catch it. And Christ cured them. So it was not only curing a horrible, horrible, disfiguring disease. It was a disease that isolated you from society, from family, from friends. I don't even think priests, rabbis at the time, would even come to see you. Even they were scared. And Christ cured them. So let's see. So the dead, the lame, the blind, the leper, and look at all the people he forgave. You have to love that phrase. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. So on top of all these amazing miracles, even the one on the night of his betrayal, where a servant of the group that was attacking him, seizing him, had his ear cut off by a sword. He put that ear back on. What's amazing to me is nobody even noticed that. I guess they were so blinded by rage, so whipped up by the crowd, they wouldn't even have seen it. So, after all this, Christ rose from the dead. And he started to make himself known to the apostles little by little. You know, I don't know, maybe he He didn't want to scare them. I mean, really, what did the apostles think when they first saw him? Is this a ghost? I mean, he just came through a locked door and appeared before them. That's something we think ghosts do. So they weren't even sure. The apostles weren't even sure it was him. They were scared. But then he ate, he drank, he consecrated the new sacrament of Holy Communion with them. So the apostles knew he was alive. They saw him right before their very eyes. Now, Thomas was not among these apostles, not among the group that actually physically saw Christ among the living. And he said, I don't believe you until I put my finger through the hole in his hand into the hole on his side. I will not believe. That's harsh. At least that's what we're taught to believe. That is very, very harsh. Well, I'm going to put something forward today. I'm going to ask you to think about something. Think about all the other apostles. Had it been one of the other apostles that didn't see Christ appear before them, would there be a doubting other apostle maybe? We don't know. Let's face it. These apostles, their faith was shaken. They truly believed Christ was dead, even though 3 times in his life he said, in very symbolic fashion, in parable form, that if I am to be killed, I will come back in 3 days. And they still believed he was dead. That's kind of hard to come back from that. So they were scared. Their faith was shaken. Thomas, I have no doubt he loved Christ, that he was a true servant of God, but his faith was shaken. Okay, he saw Christ do so many amazing things, and yet there he was on the cross, dying in one of the most horrible ways you can put a person to death at the time. I have no doubt he was sad. He was heartbroken. The visuals in his mind probably playing over and over. And when the other apostles came to him and said, Christ has risen from the dead, he was sad. He was heartbroken. It was too much for him to believe. No, that is too good to be true. It is too good for Christ to be amongst the living. He said, I can't believe that. It's like, what have you guys been drinking? Better be careful with that wine. He didn't believe. Now I am going to say to all of you, how many times in your life has your faith been shaken? You know, what we believe, what we take on faith, it is a lot. And we believe. But sometimes in our life, we think about, again, reiterating that topic I mentioned last week. How could God let this happen? How can this happen to me? How can this happen to such a good person? It upsets us a great deal. You know, something bad happens to a friend or family member, someone we love dearly. That probably hurts us more than if something happened to ourselves personally. So sometimes our faith is shaken. And then Thomas, with his faith shaken, he realized he was wrong. Christ, my Lord. You know, and was Christ angry with him for doubting? No. He said, okay, you want the proof? Here's the proof. Put your finger through the holes in my hand, through the holes in my hands. Put your finger into my side. Christ said, you want your proof? I'm here for you. I love you. I will give you my proof. Okay? Thomas knew it was real. And was Christ angry with him? Doesn't look like a tone of anger. Christ understood, I believe, that faith can be shaken, that he was upset, that he was hurt, that he was sad. That again, Christ rising from the dead was too good to be true. So, Christ forgave him for doubting. But he also said that blessed are those that have faith and don't need proof. Okay? You know, we are in an age where we want proof of everything. In courts, you want evidence. In business, you want paperwork and you want documentation. You want receipts. You want contracts. You want to see for yourself. Something happens, well, I'm going to go on the internet. I want to see the video. I want to see that this happened. We live in an age where we want proof. Proof of pretty much everything in our lives. And we actually do get that proof in so many ways, in so many different things. But there are some things that we do have to accept on faith. And are there times in our life, difficult times, when our faith can be shaken? Yes. Yes, they can be. You, me, everyone. Our faith is shaken. Our faith is tested. And sometimes, like Thomas, we doubt. We doubt because sometimes maybe we see things as maybe that's too good to be true. So, if your faith is ever shaken, it's okay. Come back. Pray, ask for forgiveness. Come back to God. Come back to the teachings of Christ. We all have those times in our lives when we doubt. But we come back from those times. We come back. We restore our faith. We believe. So, you know, if your faith is ever shaken, be strong. Be faithful. Understand that God is with us, that Christ is with us. Always. May not seem like it at the time, but they are. They really are. So, Thomas, St. Thomas, he believed and he was forgiven. And as Christ had said, in so many words, blessed are those who don't need proof. So, Thomas, not such a bad guy. In many ways, he's like a lot of us, and like a lot of the apostles. Remember, they didn't believe at first either. So, keep true to your faith and stay strong, especially these days. There's a lot to shake our faith. There's a lot to scare us. Keep faithful. Keep praying. So for today, Easter Sunday, Orthodox Easter Sunday, April 16th, 2023. This is Father Pat Contrera with Coffee and Rosaries, saying now more than ever to love one another as God loves you.